back to the show. It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Seminars. Today we have a very special guest with us here to talk about her new #1 best-selling book, Aha Moments. Please welcome Jamie Cabigas, everybody. Hello. Welcome. We're so honored to have you.
Thank you. I don't think you understand. It's my first time, guys. I'm sorry. Okay.
So tell me a little bit more about what inspired you to write this book.
So I took a class last fall. It's called Arts in New York City.
Oh, no way. Me too. Which professor did you have?
Clutch.
Wow, what a coincidence. Me too.
Seriously?
What a small world.
It is. So you'd understand this book better.
I understand, yes.
Okay. So basically the class inspired me because we went around different New York City events and we just learned a lot of things. And this book is just this book, Aha Moments. It's the collection of the aha moments that I got through looking at these art things and just how I shape new perspectives. You know what aha moments are,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
So,
you know, kind of like this light bulb turning on
right.
in your head. Things just click. Yes.
So I did it through a character in this book.
Interesting. So I was, reading through it. I love it so far. It's amazing. Great work. I noticed that for your, 3 chapters of the book, you kind of structured it around themes instead of a chronological order, which is very interesting. So could you tell us a little bit more about the theme for chapter 1?
So the theme for chapter 1, the aha moment for chapter 1, was how culture influences how art is produced. So I did this through taking her to the Brooklyn Museum, seeing painters such as Francisco Goyer, seeing the differences between European art, Caribbean art, seeing like the trees were different, the landscape was different. But
yeah, it was very interesting. Their different cultures kind of shaped their art very differently, and even though they were painting the same subjects, it could turn out very differently.
Right.
It's very interesting. Yeah. So culture again is definitely a huge part of art, and to understand art fully, you need to understand the culture as well, which is kind of like the main idea of your second chapter.
Yes, chapter 2. So aside from culture, it's the historical context
Right.
of a place. So you need to know the historical background and the context, meaning what these people went through to understand what kind of art they produce, because I feel like people's struggles is best reflected through art. So the character goes through El Barrio, the murals. She sees murals. She watches a West Side Story. She goes to a New York and Poet Cafe. All these have to do, what all they have in common is the fact that their art is produced from the struggles they're facing.
Right.
Yeah.
And in order to fully understand that, these art forms portray a struggle, you need to understand history and the culture and just everything, the context surrounding the art. And I found that, when we visited the Juan Sanchez exhibit, this is also a very important thing. Like his works, you really needed to understand the history and the culture to be able to really understand what they depicted. Because if you just look at what's there, just the aesthetics and just what's on the surface, you really don't get the full picture. You don't get the full message he's trying to convey. So definitely, we learned a lot about how history and context are very important. And lastly, chapter 3 seems to focus on learning how to truly appreciate art and understand it instead of just looking at it. Could you give us a little bit more detail? How did your character discover?
Right. So to sum it up, she goes to the opera. Basically, is what I'm trying to say, and she experiences not only just the art at that time, but she understands art. The development of that art form throughout all of history. So that's the third thing. To fully appreciate art, you have to know the culture, you have to know the historical context, but you also have to know how it developed throughout time.
Right, that's very important. Art, just like all things, change over time, and these changes can be small, they can be big, but they're all important in shaping our understanding of how it works and how it affects us. So that was very great. I love your book.
Right.
I'm sure everyone else will love it too because it is the Christmas season, and if you look underneath your chairs, you will find a free
You're
copy.
all getting one.
Generously provided by Jamie.
Yay! So thank you so much.
Thank you for coming, Jamie. I really enjoyed talking with you. So thank you guys, everyone, for joining us today. Right after the commercial break, we'll be back with a special surprise, so stay tuned. And we're back, here to perform her new single, Superclass, featuring me, Jamie.
This one is for the class in the CUNY system. Tuscaloosa West Side with the racial system. When we come up in the class, we be blazing up. Got thoughts about art that we're saving up. And it's real, art's a pretty big deal. Barrio murals, shouting for it, kind of thrill. Art's bold, tells cold, oh, years a nice book. He's always in the ship, but he never left home. The Caribbean art's European hearts. When he beats the sisters, then you know it's lit. That's the kind of art we were looking for. And yes, you get schooled if you're hating full. I said, excuse me, it's a hell of a piece. I mean, my, it's like blowing my mind. I mean, it's so bright and I'm loving the style. This art's thicker than the guys who don't give art a try. Oh, yes I did. Somebody please tell me where my A+ is. We are Clutch's class, we write reports up. Look arts up and Chuck the juice up. Got my heart running away. Seeing all these shows and we learn many things. Can't you hear that boom, ba-doom, boom, boom, ba-doom, boom, A+, that's super class. Boom, ba-doom, boom, boom. us at super class.